Hi there, everybody. This is David, and today Taylor of the Gaming Shelf and I are going to be talking about our top 10 best games that came out this year, best RPGs or jrpgs or whatever it is you want to call it that came out this year. And I definitely do think this with sub as you come and you level on up and you join both of our parties, both with us, because it's totally worth it. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your hype. If you're on mobile, helps us out a ton. I love it. If you haven't seen Taylor's stuff over on the Gaming Shelf, hysterical. He does a great job over there. I love his stuff. So we're going to get started, and we're going to start off with an indie game. An indie game that I think a lot of you might have played because it's really cool, and it's called Quartet. This is a turn-based RPG where you follow 4 separate scenarios, 4 separate storylines, but it's actually 8 party members. So each set of, or each storyline has 2 party members, and then they go on through and they meet up, and there's world maps, there's airships, there's dungeons, there's traditional turn-based battles. You have 8 party members in battle, and you can like swap them from the front row to the back row and all that kind of stuff. Kind of like Breath of Fire 4. Whenever you had characters in the back row and they would like regenerate HP and MP and stuff like that, you can call them back into the front row too, in order to, use all your skills to the best of advantage. And it's not like something that I can't stand about modern day RPGs. I cannot stand it. Is whenever you go ahead and you get equipment, but the only equipment that you can have is a weapon and an accessory. It drives me crazy. I can't stand it. No, here you have a weapon, a helmet, a shoe, an armor, and an accessory. It's perfect. Have you played this game?
A little bit. I played maybe one of the scenarios. I haven't got to all of them, but I love that there's a hippo for one of your party members. How unique is that?
Yes, I know. I love it. It's the cutest little thing. I don't think she's like the best character ever or whatever, but like it's so different. You know what I mean? Like it's a world of magic. And I was thinking at first, I don't want to spoil anything, but the story throws a lot of twists at you, a lot of turns. Whenever you think that you know what's going on, you don't know what's going on. It's really well done. It feels like an RPG from the 90s that kind of got lost, and it has been found, and it's here for us to play and enjoy. If you liked Chain Decos or Sea of Stars or things like that, this is another one in that same like 90s vein of just a really freaking cool RPG. I really, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it, yeah.
Yeah, thumbs up on that one for sure. So the first game I want to talk about is Rune Factory Guardians of Ozma, and this is like a very different kind of Rune Factory game because most of the time you come to a town and you are trying to build it up and you do a little bit of farming, you do the dungeons with the action combat, and this one kind of like flips the formula, and it's also like not in the same setting. This is kind of more in like a ancient Japan setting, and you have these moments where you can like fly on dragons and explore these floating islands. But the main like thing of the game is you have these 4 villages that you're trying to level up, build buildings, increase like their level, like make them look pretty, you can decorate them and stuff like that. But all the villages are based around different seasons, and I just fell in love with that. I love games where you can decorate stuff or build up a town, and the action combat is way more improved than any of the past Rune Factory games. I'm kind of a Rune Factory 5 apologist. People didn't really like it. It didn't run well on Switch, but this is on PC and Switch too, and I think it also just recently got leaked. It's coming to PS5.
Yes, there was a trophy list that was leaked. Yes.
Yeah, so it's coming. It's pretty much available on everything. I fell in love with it. I beat it, and there's so many fun characters and fun interactions, and it looks really nice. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Have you had a chance to play it?
I am not the biggest cozy person. Personally, I find cozy games to be a video game equivalent of Ambien. Like you play it when you just want to fall asleep. It's the most boring thing on the face of the planet. But well, maybe it's because the first cozy game I ever played was Harvest Moon back on the SNES. It came out in 1996. And I remember going to the mall and getting it and being afraid that it was going to be sold out because there was a line to get it and pick it up from Electronics Boutique. And everybody in line was like, I'm going to get Harvest Moon. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm at the end of this line, I'm not going to get Harvest Moon. And whenever I got it and I got home, I was so excited to play it. And I was like, oh my God, this is the most boring thing on the face of the planet. Will it rain already? I don't want to spend an hour watering my plants. Please rain. I would do like a rain dance. Because I was like, please just rain. But Rune Factory is so much fun because like, it's almost like the cozy things are almost optional, and you can go around, you go to these like, seasonally themed islands and towns and like just go fight and kick ass and take names. Well, he's over there decorating. I'm like, I don't care if I live in a disgusting hovel. I don't want to decorate it. I don't give a shit. Like, I just want to make some farming to get some money and then go out and kick ass and take names. That's my fun part of cozy games, I've got to say.
Yeah, well, they also kind of updated this, so it made a lot of that, like you said, optional. You can just hire people to do the farming. A lot of the stuff can be done in a button instead of individually going to each little crop. So it's a lot easier. You can skip that stuff if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, and speaking of cozy games, my next pick is Fantasy Life I, the Girl Who Steals Time. And just like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of cozy games. I'm really not. But again, this is much more of a kick ass and take names sort of game, you know? You can go on through and you can choose these various job systems, and you could choose to be like a warrior or an archer or a wizard or whatever, and then you can also be like a lumberjack or a cook. So you're going around, and really the vast majority, I would say 90% of the game is fighting, you know, which is great because that to me is the fun part. It felt more like a mana game than any sort of cozy game, although that cozy stuff is still there if you want to do it. One thing that I didn't do, and I probably like wrecked the game for myself, and I made a short about this, is that I pretty much just chose a wizard, and I was like, I don't want to be a lumberjack, I don't want to be a cook, I don't want to be a tailor,
that's like
that's
the whole game.
Boring. Then I got to the ending portion where it was like, by the way, you need to be at like the 90th percentile of this job, this job, this job, this job. I'm like, shit, I didn't do anything.
Oops.
So I had to go back and like become a lumberjack and a fisherman and all this other kind of stuff in order to like beat the game. And I'm like, damn, I should have done the beginning. Yeah.
Well, I played the original 3DS game, so I kind of knew what I was in for. Yeah, the game is all about like you pick a bunch of lives at once, and so you can kind of do a bunch at once. So it's like be a knight, and then you can chop wood, and then you can make stuff, and you can fish. And I love these checklist kind of games because it's like to get to the next level of your life or your job, you have to do these 10 things. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll just put on a podcast and go do the things. And yeah, it was really chill. Like I was kind of skipping the story at some point. To me, that's not really what it was all about. But it was fun. There's like that big kind of open world area.
Ginormous, which was ingenious, I've got to say, because like, even if you do finish the story, like there's so much more to do in Ginormous, you know? Like you can go there forever. And I want to say they released a free update recently where they like doubled the size of Ginormous or something. And it was like, wow.
They've been doing a lot of free updates for that game, which has been cool to see. And I gotta say, I just love that like level 5 is kind of back.
Level 5 is back.
They've been
back,
like
baby.
Down and out for so long. And even like, I don't really care about soccer, but that Inazuma 11 game's even doing well. So like,
I heard it sold 500,000 copies last time I checked.
Yep.
So yeah, for a company that isn't as well known here in America, simply because they pretty much dropped off during the PS3 era, they're back and they're doing great. And hopefully, now that they see what they can do in the West digitally, that they will start, doing some physical releases as well. Because I've loved Level 5 ever since the PS2 era.
Oh yeah, me too.
With Dark Cloud 2 and with Dragon Quest 8.
Rogue
Galaxy, yeah, all these great games. And then they kind of did like what was it, White Knight Chronicles 1 and 2 on the PS3, where it was like, play this game, now play it backwards. And I'm like, ooh.
Oh my god, White Knight Chronicles is such a bummer. But thankfully, they redeemed themselves with Ni no Kuni.
They did. I love Ni no. Oh my god, Ni no Kuni. How could I forget? Yeah. Ni no Kuni, fantastic, yeah.
So some people might call this a cozy game, but it's kind of more of a chill JRPG. So the next one I want to talk about is Atelier Yumiya. And I only just got around to this, although there was a review on my channel, but I kind of had a friend play it. But yeah, that game's so addicting. I love these kind of open world checklist kind of things. So it's like, okay, there's 10 question marks over here. Let me just clear out that part of the map. Let me build all the things. Let me do all the quests and level up my, the expedition or the...
Expedition levels.
Yeah. So that was super fun. And I'm not sure how I feel about the combat. It's kind of button mashy, but it's like kind of
very
fun.
Xenoblade-ish.
Yeah.
Just in like the exploration in general. It's basically, we have Xenoblade at home. Essentially, it's Wish Xenoblade. You know what I'm saying? You have these 4 open world areas that you can go to because you are an alchemist and you're exploring this like, I don't know, uncharted land that nobody else has really ever seen, and you're going out there and like trying to figure out like the lost civilizations, the lost ruins, and all that because your mother is accused of destroying it. Blah 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 blah. But it's great because it's just so much fun. It's so open, and the combat is very action much more action than even the Atelier Ryza games were.
Yeah.
So I think it was kind of a little bit of a departure from the Atelier series.
Oh, very much so. I know KasekiNet said he prefers the next game we're going to talk about.
He does. We're going to go from Atelier Yumiya to Atelier Resleriana, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But
I just like the tools you have to explore. Like, she has those double jumps where you can jump off the rocks, and then eventually she gets like a motorcycle or something. She does.
Yeah. And how she's pulling off all of these like acrobatic jumps and flips in the tiniest little mini skirt you've ever seen in your entire life. Like, it's like, okay, girl. I remember whenever that game was first coming. When that game was first coming out, I called it Atelier Biatch because like she looked like just like a fucking bitch on wheels. She really did. But then it came out and she was like the biggest Mary Sue. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, she was like, oh no, please like me. And I wanted her to be like, bitch, shut up. Like, bam. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I wanted. But
that would be fun one day. Maybe they'll do that.
Yeah, that would be cool. It's kind of like anti-Atelier, but we've seen some other series kind of go like anti-hero, kind of like with Tales of Berseria and things like that. But anyway, Atelier Resleriana is a return to form, and it's also I love this. I love it whenever they come out and they're like, we're gonna put all of our money, all of our resources, all of everything into this mobile game, and you're gonna love this great mobile game. And then the mobile game crashes and burns, and I love it. So they took all their resources from the mobile game and they turned it into a console game, and the console game's great. You know what I'm saying? It's great. It's a dual protagonist system, so they're getting back to like the Manichemia vibes back on the PS2, and I want to say Atelier Iris 2 had a dual protagonist system as
there
well.
was Eska and Logi too.
Oh, that's right.
On PS3.
That's right, yeah. So we have a dual protagonist system going on here. We have classic, normal, regular, turn-based combat that the series has known and loved. They're getting away from the action that Yumiya did. And it's also an Atelier game made for fans, because you're going to see past characters from the previous Atelier games come in and join your party, or they'll give you quests or things like that. Like, you get to see Atelier Eshka, you'll get to see Craze, you'll get to see Atelier Ryza. All these other people that you know and love from the various games will come in, and they'll come in and they'll join your town. So you have a town building portion, as well as the exploration portion, and then there's like this random dungeon portion thing going on too, so it's like a ginormous thing happening. There's a lot going on in Resleriana, and if you didn't like the way that Ryza kind of veered from the turn-based formula, and then Yumiya really like crashed into a different whole thing, and you want a return to form and like a love letter to the series fans, then Resleriana is where it's at.
Nice. Well, speaking of a mobile game that got turned into a console game, the next game I want to talk about.
I just gotta say this: we did not plan this, y'all.
No,
we did not plan this at all. We had a list, and we're like, you know, you choose 5, I choose 5. Let's just kind of like do it, and we'll alternate or whatever. But like, as we're going through these lists, we're like, wow, we put Atelier right next to each other. We put the 2 cozy games right next to each other, and now we're putting like the 2 mobile games turned console games right next to each other. We did not plan this.
No, it's just a lucky roll of the dice.
Yeah.
But the next one I want to talk about is Octopath Traveler 0, which is based off the mobile game. Now, I actually did play the mobile game a little bit, and while a lot of the story beats, like they have, you know, the guy, the evil playwright, and the conqueror, and then the evil queen, like that's all in the mobile game, but the way you like interact with it is very different. Like, this is almost a straightforward JRPG, and we were talking about this before we filmed, but it's not like other Octopath games where there's 8 characters and you split out. It's like kind of just one focused story, and I'm like, man, I wish if they did like a Final Fantasy in this style, like that would be sick, or just something original that's not Octopath.
Final Fantasy 6, but from Kefka's point of view.
Ooh,
how cool would that be?
That would be interesting.
Maybe like a prequel, and you get to see like Celeste turn into like the Magic Knight and everything. You get to see him kidnap Terra. But we're getting off track.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, in Octopath 0, I guess spoiler alert, your hometown gets burned down at like a typical JRPG trope, and you have to build it back up. So the big thing about this game is you're rebuilding your town. So there's a town building mechanic. You're building it piece by piece. You're going through the world. You're like recruiting people to be a part of your town. but it still has that great turn-based combat system with like the not brave and default, but I guess boost and break or whatever. But the combat system is interesting because it's not just 4 characters. You can bring two sets. Yeah, there's like 8 characters.
8 characters in, but each one is like a pair. So like you could have a warrior paired with a cleric. So if you need damage done, you bring in the warrior, but if you need healing, then you swap to the cleric and you have him heal. So yeah, it's really neat because I hate whenever games like Chrono Cross come in and they give you like 44 characters, but then they give you a party of 3 and you're like, great. Yeah. And then one of them is mandatory, so it's Surge. And then you're like, great, so I can only use 2, but Glenn is the best character, so you're like, great, I can really only use 1. So
yeah.
But here you get like 30-something characters, but you can use 8 of them, which is wonderful, you know? So like that's something that I think that Final Fantasy VI, since we brought it up during this portion anyway, so let's just go on right back into it. Something that I liked about Final Fantasy VI was that you could use all these different characters. You get 14 characters, and you're able to use them like in the scenario breaks. You're able to use them going like diving into the Phoenix Cave. You're able to use them when the story splits in the World of Balance. You're able to use them whenever you infiltrate Kefka's Tower. So I don't like whenever games give you a whole bunch of characters, but then they say, okay, well, we're going to put 90% of them on the back burner. This game really does encourage you to use all those characters, which is so much fun. I really do. Do like that.
And I just got to give one more little tip of the cap to the music. The Octopath always nails the music, and like even just like the little town theme or the little forest theme, like, oh my God, it's just so magical. I love Octopath. So I'm glad they are putting this one out, and it's only $50, which is cool.
Yeah. It's much cheaper. It's a great holiday game to grab as Christmas comes around the corner. And I've got to say, as far as the OST is concerned, I normally didn't like to listen to RPG soundtracks. Growing up, this is what I'm going to age myself here. Growing up, I would mute the television set and I would listen to the radio next to me, and then I would have a tape inside of the radio, and whenever a song came on that I liked, I would hit play record, so it would record it onto my tape. Yeah. So I'm like, if I'm going to sit here and grind levels anyway, I might as well get a good mixtape going on together, you know what I mean? So I never really got into the RPG OSTs and all that, but nowadays that I'm editing a lot, I do listen to Octopath Traveler music and just OSTs in general a lot more. Speaking of great OSTs, that's a fantastic segue right there. Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yes.
This is the next one that we're going to be talking about. I loved this game. Came out when I was 15 years old, sophomore in high school. I played the bejesus out of this thing with all sorts of different challenges. I remember even as a kid, I was like, you know what? All these name characters are so overpowered. I don't want to use them. I want to use only generic characters because I want to create some sort of semblance of balance, because I don't want to just go in there with like Reese and Beowulf and Agrius and just destroy everything.
Yeah, it's too easy. Yeah.
It's too easy. So, I'm still doing the same thing here with Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered. It is so good, so good. The voice acting. Ben Starr is back.
Yeah, does a great job. The way they balance things, like there's simple things that like back in the day we didn't even think was a big deal, but like when you're putting your troops down, before you couldn't even see where on the battlefield they are. Now it actually shows the battlefield so you can see where you're putting your troops. Like, speaking of characters, special characters, like, spoilers, Cloud's in the game. Yeah. And he was useless before because he's so low level.
Frickin' useless.
But now he starts out at a much higher level. So, I haven't really...
And he starts out with a materia blade, too, so you don't have to find it either.
That's right. Yeah, you had to go do this crazy quest to find his sword. So, yeah, it's just better in so many ways, and like...
And another thing, when we're talking about seeing the map before you can put your characters, like before, you didn't know if it was going to be a water map or a lava map or anything like that, so now you can actually use, like, you could be like, okay, well, this is a lava map, I need to learn this ability for my Geomancer, so you can use, like, the lava ball or whatever, or the walk on water ability, or whatever it is that you need to get, you can actually, formulate your party to adjust for the map, because you get to see it ahead of time, which, like... Duh, they should have done this back in the 90s, like, duh. But
right.
I'm glad that they did it now,
They finally they just fixed it, they did it right, and it's just so fun. Like, one of my favorite things to do is get, like, a calculator and just, like, deck it out, and, like, you have to kind of experiment, but there were like random encounters where I just killed everybody in one turn. It's like almost not fair.
You just equip the I think it's the chameleon robe that absorbs holy,
Yeah.
and then you just cast holy all the time because you heal yourself if you get hit anyway. You just blast the crap out of all the
Oh,
enemies.
it's great. Yeah, it's so fun.
And they went ahead and they adjusted a lot of the character classes too. Like Archer isn't completely useless any longer.
Yeah.
And speaking of calculator, they did lower the power level of the calculator, so its magical power isn't, or it won't deal like as much damage as like a summoner or a black mage would or whatever. So so it's rebalanced. It's nice. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And then, so this next game, it's from a series that I don't love, but I love this remake for Trails in the Sky First Chapter. Now, I actually did beat that way back in the day on PSP when it came out. And, you know, everyone knows the cliffhanger. That was a brutal wait because we didn't know when the second chapter was coming out.
I remember all too well.
Oh, it was bad. And, like, I think you and I both agree that the Trails games, they kind of talk too much in those games.
Oh, my God. And this is another thing. Speaking of talking too much, I feel like Octopath Traveler talks too much a bit as well. I've got to say. Sometimes it's just like, shut up.
Yeah.
But with Trails, shut up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And you know, the thing I felt with this game where I hadn't with the other ones, I feel like because it had such a boost in production value, like it looks so much better than any Trails games, and the way characters animate and cutscenes, like I think like just the production value boost for me, I made it a little bit more tolerable.
It made it a lot more tolerable for me. There wasn't really many times where I was like, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and all the performances are great. Like of all the different characters, like I love Olivia. He's probably my favorite character in the game.
He's great. He's great. Love him. Love him and Sherazade together. They're the best.
It's super fun.
I played this back in the day when it first came out. I remember I moved to Las Vegas in 2010. And we moved into an apartment where we're still house hunting. And everything was boxed up except for my portables, except for my DS and my PSP. And while Ken was at work, I had to sit there and lay in bed in this unfurnished apartment with nothing in it. And I'm like, oh my God. It was the most nightmarish 6 months of my life. But I had Trails in the Sky to keep me company. And I went through and I played it and I liked it so much that I went and I got the Gadkarv trilogy as well. And even though they sucked, I still played through all three of them. Nothing else to do so I get this apartment. And I've loved it ever since. But yeah, I do remember waiting and doing that waiting game for the game and being like, well, the PSP is on its way out. They're not going to release it physically. It would be too large for second chapter. They were wondering what they're going to do with it. And then they ended up releasing it digitally on the PSP. And that's how I ended up playing it there. Same thing with third chapter. There was a whole thing about that, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. That was fantastic game, and this remake like blows it out of the water.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And the combat system where it kind of does the daybreak thing or the metaphor thing where it does the mix of action and turn-based. I love that combat system. It's so fun. It's so good. And then they kind of redid the music. It's the same songs, but they kind of just did it with modern tech.
Yeah, like orchestrated or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Super nice. So just an awesome game. And I'm a little bit, not that this really matters, but I was a little bit miffed that it got snubbed at the Game Awards. It didn't even get nominated for Best RPG. And there was other games on there, I'm like, Avowed, really? Like,
yeah, and other games I've never even heard of. And I'm like, okay. But whatever.
Yeah. But no, it's an awesome
the Game
game.
Awards. I'm used to it by now.
And people always say this, like, where should I start with Trails? Here!
Yeah, here! Finally, here! My God, this is where you should start.
Yeah, and because they've already, like, sort of teased that they're going to continue to remake those old games.
We already know that we're getting a second chapter. We already know that.
Yeah.
Because that was included as, like, a spoiler inside the ending. They put a trailer for second chapter coming on in. Yeah. And then Kondo himself was already like, what are we going to do next? Are we going to be third, or are we going to do zero? So he's already talking about what to do next.
Yeah, and the fact that they can pump these out that quick, like, that's really exciting.
Oh, yeah. It's just amazing. So speaking of remakes, the next part that I want to talk about is the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you played these back on the NES, but I did because I was a big old dork. When I was 7 years old, I've got Dragon Quest 1 back on the NES. And then I loved it. Me and my brother would play it all the time, even though it was very archaic. Even back then, at 7 years old, I still knew that it was very archaic. Because, you know, you would play like Mario 2 or Mario 3 and be like, wow, this is really fun. Go back to Slow Dragon Warrior. You know, but I liked it. I really did. I liked it. And then in 4th grade, I broke my arm. This kid, this little asshole child, this like devil child in the neighborhood, Matt, he ran me over with his bike. broke my arm. Freaking devil child. Anyway. Anyway, my mother felt bad for me, and she wheeled the television into my bedroom, and she got me Dragon Quest III, and I was like, oh, I got to stay home for an entire week and play Dragon Quest III, and it was amazing, and I fell in love with it, and at that point, I was like, wow, I've played Dragon Quest I, I played Dragon Quest III, I haven't played Dragon Quest II. So we had to go out and find Dragon Quest II, and it was very rare. It was very hard to find back in the day. Not a lot of copies were made of it because they pretty much had to give away Dragon Quest I, so they made like no copies of Dragon Quest II. But fantastic games. This remake took those games and elevated it to something that's just substantial, something that we haven't really seen. It took Dragon Quest II, which is like the black sheep of the series, the game that was completely, horribly unbalanced back on the NES. They even went so far as to say that they didn't have time to balance it after the ship. So that's why it's like, whoa, this difficulty level, whoa, I went here and I completely died. But they took it and they turned it into something spectacular. We have a fourth party member. Every single town has its own quest lines. New dungeons have been added. You get the ship, which can now go underwater. Yep. Mermaids are added, fairies, dwarves, all sorts of stuff. And the ending, I don't want to spoil anything, but the ending ties everything together because it is, Dragon Quest II is the ending of the Erdrick trilogy. So it just wraps it up with a nice, neat bow, and it is just so well done.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Now I've only played one of the 1 and 2 remakes, but it's such an improvement. Like I did play one back on the NES. I was like, when you do anything, you have to like press a button and it pulls up a menu. Do you want to talk? Do you want to open a door? Do you want to use a key? It's like, oh my god. Do you want to walk up and down
the stairs? Yeah. For God's sakes.
Yeah, it was crazy. So like, it just looks amazing too. I love what they do with the HD 2D games, and you can speed up the combat, and you can mess with the difficulty and stuff like that. So it's great quality of life. It's just the story in one is very simple. There's like almost nothing to it, but there's just something like nostalgic and fun, and I don't know. I dug one quite a bit.
You've got to play 2. Like they took the black sheep and they turned it. At this point, I like 2 better than I like 3. And 3 was like my favorite for the longest time. But they did so much to 2 to really turn it into something spectacular. It is high up on my list now. It's really just so good. So good.
Awesome. Well, I think you guys can probably guess what we saved for last. So
the best for last.
Yes. And that is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, I think when the trailer for this got released, I think everybody was like, oh, this is interesting. Because it was doing the turn-based combat and the timed button presses and stuff like that. It had such a unique premise with like this paintress that, it kills everybody that's of a certain age. And but I don't think people were fully prepared for how good this game was going to be, like just how good the voice acting, all the performances in the game are, how good the combat is, how much of a JRPG it truly is with like the world map and all these little mini games. And the thing that I really liked about the story is it balances different emotions. It's never like too silly or too serious. Like it really balances. Like when SKA comes into the story, he's like kind of the silly character. Yeah. And when you go to the different villages and stuff like that, like they really balance all that well. And obviously that combat is really where it's at. With
the combat is fantastic.
It's
so good.
It's so good. And like, because there's different ways you can build the characters with the little, what do they call them? The pictos or whatever? Like the things.
The pictos and luminas.
Yes. And my favorite character, I think Lune, was that her name? Yeah, the girl that floats.
Luna, whatever her name was, yeah. I can't pronounce anybody's name. Everybody yells at me anyway, so I don't even try any longer. I'm going to get yelled at no matter what I say.
Oh, yeah. So. No, I haven't played in a while. Sometimes I forget the names too. But like I remember I had this combo set up where she would use the gun 4 times and then it would automatically prepare like one of her big attacks. So I could just do these big attacks.
The stains.
The stains. I can get 4 right away and do a big attack like on the second turn. So kind of messing with that was super fun. But then I'm not going to say what the twist is. I was not expecting that.
Not expecting the twist at all.
That was crazy.
I love a good plot twist. Like that was up with like Batten Kaitos' plot twist. Like that was insane to me. Everything about that game. Whenever I see an indie game being announced, especially an indie game with an art style like that, I always feel like maybe it's too big for their britches. Maybe they're like taking on too much, and you're going to be like, okay, this looks great, but when we actually get it, it's going to be a stinking pile of garbage. And like, there's been so many examples of these games that look fantastic, and then they come out and you're like, ugh. But this one, it was fantastic all the way around. There was no bad portions to it at all. The beginning, just like, it sets you in motion of what's going to happen. It didn't take forever to set up the story, and then you finally get there, and just everything just hits you, and it's an emotional roller coaster from start to finish. And there's all these little Easter eggs going on. Like, there's this portion where you can see like the Final Fantasy VII emblem in a train in this ice portion. There's another time when if you're going up to this lantern boss and all these little fires are like starting in front of you, like when you're going to see Magus and Chrono Trigger. There are so many little Easter eggs. The combat is fantastic. The characters are fantastic. Like, it takes a lot to make me cry, but like seeing Mayel and just Gustav and Verso and just everybody else and their relationships. I'm trying to say this without spoiling anything, but it brings you to tears. Like, I heard that they're making a movie about this game. Like, my God.
Yeah, someone optioned in the movie smarter than that was before they even knew if it was going to be a success.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how they are going to do that. But yeah, but I think it is all about those characters. Like, you care so much, and the performances are so good. And I love the little campfire moments. It kind of reminds me of like a Persona where you're like you have little social link moments.
Yeah.
Because you can different romance things can happen depending on who you talk to. Like, there was that one girl that was like super horny. I don't know if you talked to her. That was
Skeel, whatever her name was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ciel. Yeah.
Ciel, ninja girl. Yeah.
I was not expecting that. I was like, cool. But I guess, when you're in a desperate situation.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's might as well do the deed. It's not like you're gonna be waiting 9 months anyway to be dead anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
But yeah, just awesome game, totally out of nowhere. And like, I think why some people were like, it's not that good, but for people like us that play a lot of JRPGs, you kind of like see the same stuff over and over again. And this was just so refreshing.
Different.
Yeah.
So refreshing. It wasn't, I'm a little bright-eyed and bushy-tailed teeny bopper 14-year-old out to leave my hometown.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sick of that. Like, I could scream. Like, this was adults, actual adults who were 30-something years old. Normally, it's like, there's that little meanie or whatever, the guy in the Mega Man game, where he's like, I'm an old man, I'm 30 years old. He's like with a cane and a beard, and it's like, come on, Yeah. This one just turned 40. I'm 43.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't feel like I'm an old man, But
yeah,
like, it's just, like this game blew me out of the water, blew us away. So that's it for our top 10 best RPGs that came out in 2025. But now I want to hear from y'all. What are your favorite games that came out this year? Let us know in the comments. Did we get it right? Did we miss one? Let us know. And as always, have a good day.